Hi everyone, I'm ImJenPass, and this is the month of terror, of horror, where supernatural danger lurks in the shadows, and where I can validate the fact that I want to talk about a game that the majority of people don't even consider it a horror game. But still, technically it is. Five Nights at Freddy's, or FNAF, is a multimedia horror franchise that covers video games, books, graphic novels, and movies. Truthfully, I wouldn't be surprised if we get a series of something. We do have a ton, like a ton of merch, like toys, posters, clothes, and even a f***ing board game. Saying that FNAF is an indie franchise nowadays is plain dumb, but it wasn't always that way. FNAF started as a small indie game created by Scott Cawthon, a last chance of making a successful indie game before looking for a real job. Scott had a vast career, starting in the 90s with some small movies and games. But at the start of the 2010s, with the projects failing commercially, Scott had given up, or so he said in an interview with Geeks Undergrace, where he explains that he went through a rough patch thanks to his last project, Shippers & Sons Lumber Co. Due to the great percentage of bad reviews saying how the characters look like horrific animatronics, Scott fell into a depression. But once he got better, he started working on something different. Looking at the critics, he embraced them and created a real horror game, which is something that I personally love about this developer. Well, of course, he is human, and he does tend to feel the critics a bit personal. That doesn't stop him from understanding them and doing something good with them, learning from his mistakes and improve, a positive habit that in his long career since the creation of FNAF have been one of his best tools. The earliest documented start point of FNAF development is in May 2014, with a demo ready in June, a trailer uploaded in YouTube, and a failed Kickstarter campaign. But with the game nearly finished at this point, the failure of the campaign didn't really affect the development. In August 8, 2014, FNAF was officially released exclusively in the Sura, entering Steam where it became popular 10 days later. Continuing with this topic, obviously it is time to talk about the game itself. Personally, FNAF's story is just as important as its gameplay. Both are very close tied. Actually, it is hard to talk about one without the other. So I will try my best to talk about both the gameplay and the story in the most natural way possible. For the best experience, if you already know what is going on, I want you to imagine that you don't know shit. For you, this is just some random new game, you don't even know it is a horror game. Cool? Cool. The game starts by giving us everything we need to know. Freddy Fazbear's Pizza is hiring a night guard for the night shift from 12 AM to 6 AM. A schedule, but what do I know? I'm unemployed. They need someone to keep an eye on the animatronics, check the cameras, and make sure everything is fine. The pay is $120 a week, which is more or less minimum wage for those times if we assume the game takes place in the early 90s. For what they ask and for a normal place, that is pretty decent pay. I can imagine a kid during summer wanting a bit of extra cash, taking that job as totally normal and not responsible for the death of this member. Where I live, it is normal to see parking lots with giant signs that said, "No responsible for theft," which makes sense. I will leave my car alone for who knows how long. I hope nothing happens to it, but you never know. Even then, I never end up fearing for my life. What the hell could possibly happen at this establishment that makes them clarify from the start that they will not be responsible if someone ripped my damn legs off? Yet, money is tight and the Super Nintendo is not going to pay itself, so we accept the job. We are welcome to work with what will be our main zone, or also our safe zone, the office, an iconic room, including its little fan, children's drawing, a Freddy poster that makes a funny noise if you move his nose, and the devil. While we take it in the view, we get a phone call. It is from the phone guy. This dude has no official name as far as I know, so I will keep calling him the phone guy. Before explaining why he is calling, let us check the cameras. This allows us to see the entire restaurant. Not only that, but we can check on the animatronics, which are only 3, Freddy, Bonnie, and Chica, each with their musical instruments. Freddy is the singer, so he has a microphone, Bonnie is the guitarist, so he starts holding a guitar, and Chica is just kinda standing there doing jack shit. With the cameras, we can see the entire layout. The bathrooms, the hallways, a place called Pirate Scope, which is out of order, probably not important at all. The kitchen camera does not work because God only knows what they put in those pizzas, and 2 hallways that lead directly to our office. Perfect! Now that we understand the restaurant layout, let us see what the phone guy wants.
Hello? Hello? I wanted to record a message for you to help you get settled in on your first night. I actually worked in that office before you. I'm finishing up my last week now, as a matter of fact, so I know it can be a bit overwhelming, but I'm here to tell you there's nothing to worry about. You'll do fine. So let's just focus on getting you through your first week, okay? Let's see. First, there's an introductory greeting from the company that I'm supposed to read. It's kind of a legal thing, you know. Welcome to Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, a magical place for kids and grown-ups alike, where fantasy and fun come to life. Fazbear Entertainment is not responsible for damage to property or person. Upon discovering that damage or death has occurred, a missing person report will be filed within 90 days or as soon as property and premises have been thoroughly cleaned and bleached and the carpets have been replaced. Blah, blah, blah. Now, that might sound bad, I know, but there's really nothing to worry about. The animatronic characters here do get a bit quirky at night, but do I blame them? No. If I were forced to sing those same stupid songs for 20 years and I never got a bath, I'd probably be a bit irritable at night too. So remember, these characters hold a special place in the hearts of children and we need to show them a little respect, right? Okay. So just be aware, the characters do tend to wander a bit. They're left in some kind of free roaming mode at night. Something about their servos locking up if they get turned off for too long. They used to be allowed to walk around during the day too, but then there was the bite of 87. Yeah, it's amazing that the human body can live without the frontal lobe, you know? Now, concerning your safety, the only real risk to you as a night watchman here, if any, is the fact that these characters, if they happen to see you after hours, probably won't recognize you as a person. They'll most likely see you as a metal endoskeleton without its costume on. Now, since that's against the rules here at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, they'll probably try to forcefully stuff you inside a Freddy Fazbear suit. Now, that wouldn't be so bad if the suits themselves weren't filled with cross beams, wires, and animatronic devices, especially around the facial area. So you can imagine how having your head forcefully pressed inside one of those could cause a bit of discomfort and death. The only parts of you that would likely see the light of day again would be your eyeballs and teeth when they pop out the front of the mask. Yeah, they don't tell you these things when you sign up. But hey, first station of the breeze. I'll chat with you tomorrow. Check those cameras and remember to close the doors only if absolutely necessary. Gotta conserve power. Alright, good night.
This is only the first night and we already have a ton of questions. Let's remember the thing again. Why is Fazbear Entertainment so focused on washing its hands of missing people? Why the hell would you program giant metal machines weighing who knows how many tons to walk around freely in a space full of kids? Preschool kids? That is just irresponsible. Who caused the bite of 87? Very important question that directly supports what I just said in point 2. That was a stupid and irresponsible decision. So yeah, keep these questions in mind, because we will try to answer them later. Now, going back to the gameplay, as phone guys say, the animatronics want to kill us. It is worth risking our lives for 100 a week? No. Yet we are the protagonists of a horror game, meaning we probably do not have enough brain cells to escape this simple job. Maybe we are the victim of the bite. Anyway, using the camera, we must track the animatronics and make sure they do not get to us. In the office, we have 2 doors on each side and lights. Once an animatronic reaches the doorway, BAM! You slam the door shut. This game is not only about survival, it is also about resource management. Our power is limited. Using cameras, lights, and doors drains the battery. Part of the mission is not only to staying alive, but reaching 6 AM with at least 1% of battery. So that is the entire gameplay loop. Survive by checking the cameras, avoid wasting power, and make it to alive to 6 AM. It is simple, and while the game progresses, it becomes harder. An important aspect, which in my opinion is one of the best parts, is the audio. There is a great video by Scruffy about how the audio is implemented, and when you have the time you should watch it, because it is a banger video. But watch it after this one, of course! Like I said before, the audio is crucial, giving hints about animatronic movements. When you want to save as much power as possible, the audio becomes your best friend. The downside is, depending too much on it makes you more vulnerable to what happens if you lose the night. And you'll ask me, what happens when you lose the night? Well, and that is where the terror comes from. It's a cycle of tension and scares. Even though jump scares are sometimes lazy horror in my opinion, in this game they work. From the moment you start, you're already tense. You never know when something will happen, and if it does, it will directly be because you messed up. I think I am getting off topic again. Anyway, that loop repeats for all the nights, and in my opinion, it is fine. The nights are not long to feel boring, and the increasing difficulty keeps everything fresh. Returning to the fungi for a second, he gives a logical explanation for why the animatronics attack us. They think we're an endoskeleton without a suit. It sounds silly, but it works. If someone wanted to make a non-paranormal FNAF story, this alone will be solid enough to justify everything. Although, just for fun, let's pretend that this is the real reason. The real explanation will come later. The clock strikes 6 AM and we finish the first night. And we go straight to night 2. Night 2 begins, and once again we receive a call from our boy, the phone guy. We are not rude, of course, so let us listen to what he wants to say.
Hello? Hello? Well, if you're hearing this and you made it to day 2, congrats. I won't talk quite as long this time since Freddy and his friends tend to become more active as the week progresses. It might be a good idea to peek at those cameras while I talk, just to make sure everyone's in their proper place, you know. Interestingly enough, Freddy himself doesn't come off stage very often. I've heard he becomes a lot more active in the dark, though, so hey, I guess that's one more reason not to run out of power, right? I also want to emphasize the importance of using your door lights. There are blind spots in your camera views, and those blind spots happen to be right outside your doors. So if you can't find something or someone on your cameras, be sure to check the door lights. You might only have a few seconds to react. Not that you would be in any danger, of course. I'm not implying that. Also, check on the curtain in Pirate Cove from time to time. The character in there seems unique in that he becomes more active if the cameras remain off for long periods of time. I guess he doesn't like being watched. I don't know. Anyway, I'm sure you have everything under control. Talk to you soon.
From this call we learn two things. One, Freddy will not move tonight, but when he does, and trust me, he will, he moves through the shadows. We must check Pirate Cove. I know I said nothing was there, but apparently yes. We check again. Wow, there's another bitch in there. Foxy, that is this guy's name. Even though in this video I will keep myself far away from the FNAF fandom, it is important to mention that Foxy is many players' favorite. By a lot. Foxy's mechanics is simple. Check the cameras often, because if you do not, he will slowly start leaving his curtains, and once he does, he will sprint in full speed to your office, giving you only a couple seconds to react. His jump scare is not really scary, but the panic you feel when you try to beat that damn fox can definitely make you jump. Aside from that, night 2 is the same. Bonnie and Chica are a bit more active, and Foxy is a new threat, but still manageable. It is easy, and you progress to the next night. Night 3 starts again with a call from our new brother, the phone guy. At this point, he's my only co-worker, so emotionally, he feels very close to us. We're very happy to hear him.
Hello. Hey, you're doing great. Most people don't last this long. I mean, you know, they usually move on to other things by now. I'm not implying that they died. That's not what I meant. Anyway, I better not take up too much of your time. Things start getting real tonight. Hey, listen, I had an idea. If you happen to get caught and want to avoid getting stuffed into a Freddy suit, try playing dead. You know, go limp. Then there's a chance that maybe they'll think that you're an empty costume instead. Then again, if they think you're an empty costume, they might try to stuff a metal skeleton into you. I wonder how that would work. Yeah, never mind. Scratch that. It's best just not to get caught. Okay, I'll leave you to it. See you on the flip side.
This is the most useless phone call in the whole game. Even if it is technically a good tip, there is no scenario in the game where the tip truly helps. Though this is a good time to explain what happens if you run out of power. Freddy appears, he plays the Toreador March, then he kills you. Back in the day, many people thought that the phone guy said was a real tactic. The idea was that if you do not move, Freddy will take longer to kill you, buying you enough time to hit 6 AM. No, this is false. The delay between the song and the jumpscare is random, nothing you do influences it. Night 3 is also where the ball buster shows up, Freddy. Yay! I hate this son of a bitch. Mechanically, he is simple. Freddy moves in a straight path through the cameras. Dining area, bathroom, kitchen, hallway, office. He laughs every time he moves, so you can track his progress by the listening. Even though that helps a lot, once he reaches the camera right before the office, you are f***ed. From that point on, he will not leave. And unlike Bonnie and Chica, when you stop them at the door, they go back to their starting point, Freddy does not. First issue, you cannot see him at the door. You have no idea where he is. Second issue, even if you push him back one room, he will come right back instantly to destroy your f***ing life. The stress you feel here is insane because you never know when he will attack, and even when you are doing everything perfectly, there is always a small chance he will screw you over. Way too stressful for halfway through the game. Miraculously, if you survive, you move on to night 4. As always, we have a call from our best friend.
Oh, hey, wow, day 4. I knew you could do it. Hey, listen, I may not be around to send you a message tomorrow. It's been a bad night here for me. I'm kind of glad that I recorded my messages for you when I did. Hey, do me a favor. Maybe sometime you could check inside those suits in the back room. I'm going to try to hold out until someone checks. Maybe it won't be so bad. Yeah, I always wondered what was in all those empty heads back there. You know. Oh no.
No. Brother. Dear viewers, it is my greatest sadness to inform you that the phone guy has died. But his death will not be in vain, because we will finish this game and we will avenge him. That's what I would like to say, but no, I could not beat night 4. I set myself a very strict deadline to finish this project, and honestly, I did not make it. What can I say? It is the same gameplay, but harder. There is no surprise, fifth animatronic or anything. Well, there is one, but we'll talk about him later. For now, we press C, D, and plus and skip to night 5. Woo! Before talking about night 5, this is the perfect time to mention what FNAF does incredibly well, the thing that made it an indie icon: the Easter eggs. We start with the most legendary one. If you click Freddy's nose on the poster in your office, you hear a little boop. It's perfect. During the most stressful moments of the game, this tiny stupid little sound makes everything worth it. Unfortunately, this is the only fun little Easter egg of its kind, because the rest focus on something feared by everyone: the lore! First, the visual hallucinations. As expected, our protagonist is sleep deprived and he starts hallucinating on the job. Sudden creepy images of Freddy and Bonnie flash on the screen for microseconds around the pizzeria, and you might also see the words "It's me." Put a pin in that, we will come back to it later. There is a Freddy poster on the left hall, looks normal, looks fine, except sometimes it changes to Freddy turning his head open, as if someone inside is trying to escape. There is an even rarer version where the poster shows a yellow Freddy. Be careful, the moment you see that, you will see him sitting inside your office. You only have a few seconds to raise your cameras, because if you do not...
That's what it takes to get views on YouTube.
We will talk about him later. Put another pin there. It's Me appears again around Pirates Cove and in the hallways. Even some children's drawings can change into disturbing drawings of crying kids. Pin number 3. Lastly, and the most important one, the Easter egg on the right wall. The rules posters can change into newspaper articles. These articles give us the meat of the story. A man dressed as one of the animatronics used his disguise to gain children's trust and make them disappear. 5 children vanish, and Fazbear Entertainment refuses to take responsibility. And that answers our first question, by the way. A suspect was arrested, yet the bodies were never found. Customers report that the animatronics smelled horrible, and fluids like blood and mucus leaks from them. The restaurant faced health violations. Because of the bad reputation, even though they didn't want to, the restaurant was forced to close by the end of the year. With this new lore, we get 2 more major questions. Who killed the kids, and why are human fluids coming out of the animatronics? Remember these, we will solve them at the end. And yeah, that's all the important Easter eggs. Let's finish talking about the game. We only have night 5 left. You can be serious. Do you really think that if I could not beat night 4, I beat night 5? To be fair, I tried. What destroyed me every single time was the battery. Sure, get good and all that, but I told you already that I had a strict time limit, so I skipped ahead. When we finish this, they give us a paycheck, which reveals that our name is Mike Smith, and reminds us that we risk our life for $120. Yay. After that, they give us the greatest shock of the whole game. They lied to us. There's a 6th night, or how I like to call it, false advertisement. This night is horrible. Like every 3 seconds the camera stops working. Bonnie and Chica leaving your office basically, and if you stop looking at the camera for 5 seconds, Foxy and Freddy lose their minds. But once you pass this level, you unlock the awesome custom night, an extra night where you can determine the aggressive level of the animatronics, with 20 being the highest possible number. Thanks to this, the challenge of 24 started, which consists on putting all 4 animatronics in maximum difficulty, a trend that'll continue in each game. And with that, we finished talking about the game. A good start to the franchise, but I'll talk more about that in the end. Right now, it's time to check our questions and see if we can answer them with everything we learned. And that will have to wait 1 more week. Yeah, sorry, but it was necessary to be able to get this video out today. The project simply became too big for what I'm accustomed to. Just compare this video's duration with the last time I talked about FNAF. Wow, what a difference. But yeah, for the conclusion, you'll have to wait just 1 more little week. I really appreciate your patience. I'm ImJenPass, and thanks for watching.